Happy New Year to everyone. This is lesson 1 in how to sequence music using BandLab. So, what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to teach you how to use BandLab, how to navigate yourself around the interface. I'm also going to show you how to sequence a drum beat using the built-in drum machine. Afterwards, at the end of this video, after watching this video, your assignment is going to be, if you go on BandLab, there will be a set assignment where I want you to sequence a drum beat using the method that I've showed you today. So, for myself, I'm going to press Create Project here. I'd like you to generate the music through the assignment. That way I can look at it and mark it and I can give you feedback. But if you want to make music just for yourself, if you click up here on my library, get to the screen, you press Create Project. So, this screen should load up and I want you to click on Drum Machine. We're going to be using the inbuilt drum machine within BandLab. There's loads of different ways to sequence drums, but I'm going to show you one method today. So, the first thing, when we open the screen, there's a lot of information on the screen. I just want to depict what we have in front of us. So, BandLab is a DAW. We've spoken about this briefly. DAW, DAW standing for Digital Audio Workstation. A DAW is initially a program where you can record, mix, master music. So the second we open BandLab with the drum machine, you'll notice there's some pre-made music, there's some information here already. We're just going to get rid of that. What I'd like you to do is, if you can just see these red boxes, you just click and press delete the same way you would on your keyboard, and that will get rid of it. Also, subsequently at the bottom here, if you click on pattern bank A, you right click and clear pattern. I'm just going to do the same with B. If you're unsure of what this means, that's absolutely fine. We're going to go through it all. So initially, this is a program for sequencing and recording music. At the top here, we have, this is called the transport bar. And you'll find this in most DAWs, most of the popular ones. The one we have at school is Logic Pro. You'll find this is very similar. Ableton, Fruity Loops, I know Fruity Loops is very popular at the moment. They all look very similar and they all do very, very similar things. So this button plays us music. Press again to pause. If you press the space bar, that's also a shortcut. If you press up here, the space bar is also a shortcut for it. So you can use this button here to quickly whip back to the beginning. The red button, of course, this is the record button. But actually, we're not necessarily going to record anything in live time today. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. So when we first open up a new project on BandLab, BandLab automatically assumes that your project is going to be in 120 BPM. Now, 120 BPM, BPM stands for beats per minute. And this is all to do with tempo, how fast or slow a piece of music is. But actually, if we press play, you can't really hear how fast or slow the piece is. If we turn on this button here, and if I hover over it, it should say Enable Metronome. If I press Enable Metronome and now I press play, you should be able to hear a clicking sound. This is called the metronome, and this tells us how fast or slow the piece of music we're listening to, or what the music we're creating is. I'm going to press again to pause, and I'm just going to press the transport button to take me back to the beginning. Now, you can actually change, there's a few ways you can change the tempo. If you click and drag here, if I click and drag down, you'll notice the lower the number becomes, the lower the tempo becomes. Subsequently, if I click and drag up, the tempo increases. Also, you can write in the tempo as well. I'm just going to write 90, enter, and it will play. Another feature that you can do is next to the metronome, if you click here, I think the metronome might be a little bit loud, so I'm just going to turn it down. You can actually turn down the volume of the metronome. You can change the sound of the metronome as well. For experienced people, different people like to hear metronome played in different ways. Also, there's a very interesting feature here where you can tap the tempo between two clicks. It will give it to you. anyway, I'm going to go back to 90 BPM. So, this is the transport bar. This is where we navigate around music. And at the top here, these numbers signify bars. Bars and time. The longer the piece of music is, the more bars we will use. But from 1 to 2, this is bar 1. This is bar 2, 3, and 4. You might often heard the term bars. When someone talks about bars, what they're initially talking about is a length of time. If I zoom in here on the right, I've just zoomed in. You can hear a click for every one of these light grey lines where there's a number at the top. We've got bar 1. Bar 1, this is currently set to have 4 beats in each bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. And so on and so on. So this is beat 2 in bar 1, this is beat 3 in bar 1, this is beat 4 in bar 1. So this is what these numbers mean. These are initially bars. And over here, this you can see it's automatically generated a drum machine track. Tracks can be anything. You can use the human voice. You can plug in a guitar. You can use the inbuilt sounds. But the more instruments and sounds you want in your track, this is where they're all going to come up. I'm just going to delete these very quickly. Today, we're just going to be focusing on drums. So let's go down to our sequencer. Also, just at this point, so I'm going to go drink some water. Just at this point, I think it's important to say, if you want to, the way to utilize this video is pause it, rewind it. If you have the function to slow it down, do so if it makes it. But that's why I'm going to be generating the lessons via video format. I will still be, for every lesson, I will be at my computer on Teams, and I will put through a call. If anyone has any questions or any queries that they want to talk to me about, I will be there to answer you. But this video format you can use throughout the entire week, and it should help you make your music. So, at the bottom here, we have our sequencer. This is our drum sequencer. Now, there's a lot of information here, but initially, these are all different parts of the drum kit on the left here. And if I hover my mouse over it, it should tell me the different parts of the drum kit. So we've got the kick drum, we've got the floor tom, snare of an edge, clap, closed hi-hat. Don't worry about it, I've just unplugged my keyboard, my musical keyboard, open hi-hat, and crash cymbal. I'm just going to change the sound as well. Let's get a different drum kit. I'm going to get the Fusion drum kit, but by all means, spend your time investigating all of these different sounds. Investigate all of these different drum kits, because there's loads of great drum kits. BandLab's got a really impressive array of drum kits and different sounds on here for free software. So, just going to open up this little tab here just to write some notes. So, as you can see, there's a symbol next to all of these sounds, and actually you can generate the sound by playing the symbol. For example, this kick drum, I can actually hear the kick drum just by playing an S. Oops. There we go. I'm playing S on my keyboard, and it's giving me the kick drum. If I play U, I get the floor tom, and F is our snare. I'm playing this just on my typing, I'm just playing this on a QWERTY keyboard. G, we've got our edge. C, we've got a nice clap. Oh, the clap's not coming. Oh, so there's no clap for the Fusion sound. That's why it's been darked out. But other sounds do have a clap. So that's O, not 0. O is our hi-hat, our closed hi-hat. 9 is our open hi-hat, and 6 is our cymbal. So we've got an array of different sounds. So it is possible to record in simply by playing. I'll give you an example. Oh, because we've got the sequencer, it's not letting us recording, that's fine. It is possible just to record these drums straight in, but we're not going to be doing that today. I'm going to show you how to sequence in a drum beat. And this technology, or this concept of this grid system, is used by all of the popular DAWs. It's used by GarageBand. You can find it everywhere. So, what if you look? We've got a grid system. There's some light grey squares. There's some darker grey squares. There's some light grey squares and some darker grey squares. These grey squares, or should I say, this first block is beat 1. The beginning of this second block is beat 2. The beginning of this third block is beat 3. And the beginning of this fourth block is beat 4. So if I was just to... And the way I generated these sounds very simply was just by clicking in the block. Very simply. You can click and drag. Now I'm going to try and do that backwards and catch it all. Yep, easy does it. So, this is one way of sequencing drums. Now, I'm going to show you how to sequence using 3 parts of the drum kit today. And the 3 parts we're going to look at are the kick, the hi-hat, and the snare. The kick, the hi-hat, and the snare. So I'm going to show you a very basic drum beat, the most basic drum beat. If you were to play drums, this would be the first drum beat you would learn. Firstly, the kick drum. This is our kick drum here. The kick drum, you can always start off a drum beat with the kick on the 1, the first beat. You can always start off a drum beat with the kick on the very first beat. This is a very strong beat for the drum. Kick, beat 1. And the stuff that we're talking about, this is synonymous across most genres of music. Most genres of music. No matter what genre of music you listen to, you'll always find the kick drum on beat 1. It's almost like the beginning of a story, the beginning of a sentence. And then let's look at the snare drum. So this actually, if I hover my mouse over, this is the snare sound. We're going to look at that. This is beat 1, beat 2, and this is beat 3 here. The snare drum, we're going to put on the beat 3. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. So, kick on beat 1, snare on beat 3. Now, the next part we're going to look at is the hi-hat. Very important part of the drum kit. Hi-hat's actually these are both hi-hats. A hi-hat is actually 2 cymbals sandwiched together almost. And what you do with the hi-hat is you have when you play the hi-hat on a drum kit, there's a pedal. When you put your foot on the pedal, it closes the 2 cymbals together, and we get a nice closed sound. Hi-hat-to. Nope. This is our hi-hat. And what we're going to do with the hi-hat is I'm going to put the hi-hat on the beginning of every beat. So beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. Let's have a listen. And there we have a very, very basic drum beat. I'm actually just going to increase the tempo a little bit. Just a little bit. Give it a little bit more life. Okay, so we're running at 100 BPM at the moment. And let me just put in for our hi-hat. Beat 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, kick on beat 1, snare on beat 3, hi-hat on beat 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I'm gonna add some. What I'm showing you now is the basis. This is the shell of your drum beat. This is the shell of your drum beat. Now, most of you are going to want to make your drum beat a little bit different. Most of you are going to want to add your own flair, your own style. And the way that comes from, it really comes down to listening to music. The more music you listen to, and actually as you're listening to music, just sitting there and listening and saying, oh, okay, I can hear the hi-hat. I can hear what the hi-hat's doing. That is really where you start to be able to develop your own style. What I've been teaching music technology for a long time. Honestly, a lot of people, people are going to start tracking, doing this. And because it's in a grid system, it's going to be in time. Because it's in a grid system, it's going to be in time. And because that, it's not going to sound too wrong, but it's not going to sound too great either. Please, 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 my advice to everyone is this. Start off basic and slowly add. So I'm gonna add a few. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add a few hi-hats in. And I might add another kick in as well. So okay, I'm gonna add even more hi-hats in. Delay that kick a little bit. So here you have an example of a basic drum beat. And what's really cool about this sequencer is that you can play it and just try things. And ultimately that's my main bit of advice. Try things out. If you're interested in production, if you're interested in getting better at this stuff, try things out. Also, let's change this for an open hi-hat. We'll keep it like this for now. So we've got our drum beat. We've decided on our drum beats. And again, please follow this basis. No matter what I've done, I've got a kick on the 1. I've got a snare on the 3. That's important. And now what we're going to do to actually get this drum beat from here, from the sequencer into into the BandLab, into the actual track, is we're going to press this button, add A. So basically, you can make a drum bank. You can create a drum beat, and you can add, and this is where it starts here. So what I'm going to do is, wherever your cursor is here, this is where the drum beat will come in. We're going to put ours at the beginning, of course. I press A, and here is my drum beat. Because that's all the music I have so far. That's all the music I have so far. So I'm going to turn the metronome off for now. Now, this is what I want you to do. This is now we're going to enter what your task is. This is 1 bar. This is important now, because when I talk about bars and beats, this is the language that musicians use. This is the language that singers, producers, bands, rappers. This is the language that we use to talk about music and time. So this is 1 bar's worth of music. There's 4 beats in this bar. This is just 1 bar. I'm going to add 3 bars of this. So I've got 3 bars of the same drum beat. If we just listen here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, if you listen to the drum beat, you can say, okay, Mr. Coles, the drum beat's sounding okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's there. most time a drummer or a producer, a drummer's not going to play the same thing at the same time. Why? Because just like yourself, the listener's going to get bored. If the drum beat stays the same, the listener doesn't have anything new or any new information to latch onto. So I'm going to go into pattern B. I'm going to go into pattern B here. This is a brand new pattern. And again, I'm just going to make my shell. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a last bar. My bar 4 is going to be a variation. It's going to be a variation of bar A. Of this first sequence here. So the first 3 bars are going to be the same, and then the last bar is going to be a variation. A variation, also known as a turnaround. And basically, this little drum beat is just going to bring it back. So I'm going to add a few things in. Let's have a listen. Okay. Maybe too much on the hi-hat. Maybe too much. Okay. I've got a little bit of a turnaround. I'm sort of happy with it. And again, all I've done is I've added a few hi-hats, I've added a few more kicks, and I've added a few snares. And now I'm going to press add pattern B. So we've got A, B. This 4th bar here is our turnaround. Very quickly, if you click and drag anywhere here, you can start here. If you can see, I'm using this grey bar at the top here. If you click and drag, it will make a loop. So let's have a listen to what our drum beat sounds like. Whoops, from up here. Okay, so as you can hear, that last bar almost brings it back. Do you know what? There's too many open hi-hats. There's too many open hi-hats. Yeah, there's too many open hi-hats. So this is a little drum beat of my own. Hopefully you can see and hear the concept of this drum beat. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 bars of the same drum beat, and then the last bar is just a little bit different. It's just a little bit different to give the listener a little something to listen to. And also, as you can hear, there's a few more notes towards the end here. There's a few more beats towards the end of this bar here that create a bit more tension, that create a little bit more suspense as we bring it back round to the beginning again. So if you're using spacebar, just to let you know, if you're using spacebar will play the last thing you've clicked on. So if you've clicked up here and you press spacebar, it will play up there. So you press instrument, that will come up. If you click down here and you press spacebar, that will come here. So now we've come to, this is the end of the first video on how to use Logic. So today we have looked at how to navigate around the transport bar, playing, pausing, going back. You can change the tempo of the piece of music. We can whack it up. So I think I'm gonna like this at 95. Yeah. We've looked at the metronome tool as well. The metronome tool, if you're recording, for example, if you haven't got drums and you're going to play in guitar or you're going to sing in, metronome tool is really useful. But because everything's in a grid, it's going to be in time no matter what over here when we use our sequencer down here. Also, by all means, have a listen to some of these different drum kits. What's Sinister Trap? that sounds terrible. You could make that drum kit sound really good, but for the tempo and everything we've done, yeah, we're going to stick with Fusion. It doesn't sound too bad. So, your task is going to be create a 4-bar drum loop. This is a 4-bar drum loop. Again, at the top here, if you just click anywhere this green bar where the numbers are, if you just click anywhere, so I'm going to press from 1, click and drag all the way, and then press space bar, or just press play, it will loop that section. It will loop instantly. So when it gets to the end, create a 4-bar drum loop using kick, hi-hats, and snare. Bars 1, 2, plus 3 will stay the same. Bar 4, variation / turnaround. So if you go on BandLab, you will see that I've put the assignment up so you can see what the assignment is, and make sure that you do the task within the assignment, because that way I can look over your drum beat and I can give you feedback. Also, I will be posting the best drum beats to heads of years. I will be posting the best drum beats every week. I'll be making sure to highlight the best drum beats that people are creating. So this is the task. Hopefully you've enjoyed the first video on how to use BandLab. Make sure that you utilize this feature to the fullest. If you need to pause or rewind something or go back, by all means do so if that helps you. That's why I've used this video format. So thank you very much.